Okay, so I haven't made a video in a minute. I've been doing a bunch of stuff lately. I've been experiencing a lot of stuff. I've been experiencing, I'm just gonna be honest with everybody, but like it's been waves of bliss, pure bliss, coming from all these different practices and things that I've been doing. Like the last little bit, most of the stuff that I've been doing has literally just been spiritual practices, like chanting and like walking and kind of just doing these meditative practices like all the time. But honestly, these, first of all, I want to start talking to people a little bit more about the ways of bliss and like how to experience that and what that feels like as it's happening. But also, I wanted to talk a little bit in the video also about a little bit of energy transmutation and the experiences that I've been having of these higher chakras and what I've been doing also to be able to do this as well. So remember that the thing that you're using in this lifetime to be able to move your vehicle of your body is your life force energy. It is your fuel, right? So what fuel that you use will be the propellant that pushes you into being what you want to be. So say that in this lifetime, you really, really like the way that you feel metaphorically going very fast. So say that you like the way that you feel as being a drag race car or something like that. And you start trying to put 87 octane fuel into your drag race car. And you just continuously fuel up your drag race car with 87 octane fuel. And then you watch all these other drag racing cars go off and you know that you're capable of the exact same thing. But you're watching these start off and then get up to like 300 plus miles an hour in like less than a couple of seconds. But yet when you try to do it, then you can barely get up to 70 and you're wondering what's going on. And the reason is because the fuel that you're using is not sufficient for the consciousness state that you're trying to achieve. So that's the first thing, is having the right fuel for your body. So experiment with the food that you eat. Experiment with the kind of things that you put on, inside, with, around, all that kind of stuff with your body, and start to feel into your space of consciousness, feel into your space of awareness more and more often, and kind of like find a baseline or a guideline space of awareness that you can find in yourself that feels comfortable or good. It's almost like a home base in a way. And you find this like home base inside of yourself, and you start learning to redirect your attention back to that. And the home base feels kind of like a feeling. And the way that you start doing this is that you start letting go of interpretations. So you'll notice that your mind and your body and everything is always interpreting energies and always kind of giving you sensational kind of like understandings and downloads about things. But there's like an automatic interpretation that happens in, say, like probably 90% of the people on the planet, where they have been conditioned to look for or see the worst in things first. They've been conditioned to not really allow themselves to feel good unless they feel like they're allowed to feel good. And what I mean by that is like they have to do something in order to be able to allow themselves to feel okay. And this is really not resonant with what we are capable as humans. We're capable of fully being in control of our state of consciousness and actually keeping ourselves in a space of awareness or a space of togetherness in our minds that is powerful enough to be able to change the way that we feel in the moment. And the only thing that you have to do to be able to do this is to literally just allow yourself to let go of the interpretations of what you've been experiencing. So you notice that the thing that's causing the suffering is not actually the thing that you're experiencing in the external world. It's the mind's resolve, or the mind's clinging onto the desire to change the thing that it's experiencing, or the mind's desire to achieve some sort of state of consciousness that it feels like liberation, or feels like a, I guess, separation from this material plane. And really there's another kind of a trick to this that I've realized, is that escaping the material plane, or escaping even what you're experiencing right now, it shows you glimpses, but it will never allow you to be able to reside in your spiritual heart, or your hridayam, your spiritual togetherness in the heart. And the reason is because you'll always be kicked out of your own heart. And the reason is also, like, or behind that, is because you don't truly accept, like, to sit in the kingdom of heaven, you have to be fully acceptant of everything that you're experiencing in the moment of experiencing it. Like, that's what heaven really is. It's not a beautiful place. Like, this is beautiful. You see what I mean? Like, this whole thing is heaven. This whole thing is a beautiful realm of existence. All this stuff around me is absolutely radiantly beautiful. But the human consciousness has been tainted enough to where it's not able to see the beauty there. It's not that it's innately missing beauty. It's just that the consciousness is so... the consciousness is so distorted, or muddied by these interpretations of the mind, that it doesn't allow the self to experience the beauty that is all around it. Just imagine for a second that you were actually born into heaven, meaning like that when you were born, you actually weren't born into a physical existence. Like, you were actually, that was the ending of the last life and the beginning of this new. You see what I mean? So like, this could be just like the quote unquote afterlife, you know? I mean, I'm not saying it is like that. That's the thing that comes also, is that there's no difference between the before life and the afterlife, the now life, the then life, the next life. All that happens right now in your consciousness. So there's an acceptance that happens there, and when that acceptance happens, then you start to remember how many times you've done this before, you know, like, well, what you learned in these different ways. And then you start to become very wise to your actions. And when you start making actions and doing things, then you start being able to do them in a way that it's obviously different than the way that you have done it before. And what I mean by that is that it's literally, you can tell by the way that you have allowances in your body and your mind, that your body is being moved by something more intelligent than the ego. It's being moved by something more intelligent than you. And when you surrender to that intelligence, or you surrender to that love, that loving kind of embrace, then your body becomes almost like a puppet for that, or it becomes a, I guess puppet's probably the wrong word. I mean, puppet it's correct in the sense, but it's not correct in the way that you still feel all the emotions, and actually you feel the emotions as if you were that thing that is flowing through you. So it's like, the more godly that you become on this plane, the more that you feel those godly emotions flowing through you. And you can start to recognize that this human body is capable, and this mind is capable of experiencing godlike emotions, literally godlike experiences, godlike everything. Like, literally this place is literal heaven on earth. I'm telling you, the heaven is here right now. It's not somewhere that you go later. It's not something that you experience like after you die or whatever. It's literally here right now. And I've been experiencing it as if it's real, because it is real. You see what I mean? It's all based on your interpretation, what you allow yourself to do. See, like, for one person, they could be sitting in the kingdom of heaven, and they could allow themselves to just start to weep at tears of magnificent joy all the time, like every day. And then all these other people could be looking at them like they're completely insane, but yet they're in absolute and total bliss. So who's the person who is the weird one at that point? You know what I mean? Like, you may have somebody who is quote unquote normal, but they're suffering, and they're in deep suffering and torment in their own self, in their own mind. Or you could have somebody who looks like they are going completely insane in a way. Because what happens is, when you start to experience the touch of the divine in these different ways, it can become ecstatic, literally. Like, for me, I start to pant and weep and laugh hysterically and have these like powerful moments of, like, it literally feels like minutes and minutes, like 45 plus minute long, like, heart orgasms. Like, I don't know how to describe it other than that. That's what it feels like, literally. It feels like the same feeling as an orgasm happens in the lower centers, but in the heart area. And but you don't feel as though you've been drained completely afterwards. You feel actually more energized afterwards. You feel excited and like a sense of wonder and awe about the possibilities of the universe. Like, I've literally experienced the touch of these different deities and things, and like when they touched me, I just start to weep, and I start to have these like very powerful, just connective moments. And I realize that all the stuff that we've been experiencing here, it means nothing as compared to what we are and who we are for real. And our attention has been misdirected based on these little stories that we've been given, these different kinds of storylines, or these different kinds of like ideas that other people have presented to us about our life or about what we are. We've been told our whole lives what we are, what it is that we should be, that we need to project ourselves as. And we disconnected from our childlike, soul-centered self, you know? And it's time for us to allow our child to take back control of the body and the mind, and to do what's really best for us. Because the child, you know, is connected also on the soul plane. It's connected to the soul on a deep level. And when you allow that childhood self to come through, then a lot of emotions and feelings will start to flow through first. But then you start to feel the kind of the lightness and the happiness of that part of yourself, of that childlike nature. Like, that wasn't just alive when you were a child. That was just a part of yourself that was more alive then, that you reduced or you pushed away in order to feel normal or look normal in this society. So it's okay to be childlike again. It's okay to experience your childlike nature and to experience your inner self, you know? That's okay. It's okay to smile and to be happy, and to even smile at people who show hatred to everybody and everything. And I'll make another video very soon talking about how to take on literal other negative energies and transmute them into love and happiness in yourself. Like, I've gotten very, very good at that. Like, to the point where I can walk through large groups of people literally weeping tears of joy, and then as soon as somebody looks at me, like, whatever they're feeling, like, it doesn't matter. As soon as they look at me, that energy is immediately interpreted by me as love, and then it just intensifies the kind of experience that I'm having in the moment. And I can do this like walking through the middle of a grocery store. You know what I mean? This has been happening literally all day, like all the time. And not all the time, but like whenever I don't know, man, like, it's hard to describe, because like sometimes it feels good just to be really, really calm. And it feels really good to just be really like meditative and just to sit and do nothing. And sometimes it feels really good to be really active and to project outward the feelings that I'm feeling inside, you know, or to sing or to dance or to do any of these things. So dancing and singing also, you know, like, don't really think about too much about the kind of consequences of what it is that you're doing. Just allow yourself to dance in the moment. Other people's projections are just their insecurities that they experience that they're projecting onto you. So, or like, say you're filming a video and somebody's walking around you, you could choose to feel whatever you want to, right? Like, you can choose to feel connected. You could choose to feel as though you're being judged. You can choose to feel as though you're being I don't know, like anxious, or any of these different kinds of things. Or you could choose to just see that attentive energy as a form of energy, and to take that on and to feel that physically in your body, and then to reinterpret that with the mind as some sort of other type of energy. Maybe for me, I would reinterpret it as something like a creative flow type energy. Maybe somebody else would take it, if they were, say, exercising or something like that, and they would take that energy, and then they would experience maybe a burst of physical energy. It really just depends on what you do with it. So you start to see that all energies are able to be understood and interpreted by the body and the mind. And the body automatically knows what to do with it, but the mind is what kind of like blocks that energy from being interpreted. So what you can do is you can just like experience the physical flow of the energy and just feel into the body and feel into the reactions, And this is why also diet is really good too, is because the diet makes you really, really sensitive. And what I mean by sensitive is that it makes it to where when you see another person, say, then you can feel a literal flush of heat energy shooting through your body to show you what chakras are active inside of that other person. And or you can think about somebody and then all of a sudden you notice a significant physical shift in the way that you feel inside of yourself after just thinking about somebody for like 2 seconds. Or you notice that the mind has a clinging to, say that it has a desire to look at the phone, and you feel that kind of like flare up in the stomach area before you're about to go reach for the phone. And instead of reaching for the phone, you look into yourself and into your stomach, and you're like, what was that experience? So what was that feeling that I just felt inside of myself? And then you reach for the phone and you feel like the release of that feeling, or like what that feels like as well. You know what I mean? And just become very, very observant of all the different things that you're experiencing energetically and physically and mentally, and link them together in a way that kind of gives you a coherent story about what it is that you're experiencing, so that you can start to choose the aspects that you enjoy and the aspects that you choose not to continue to explore as much. And then you can kind of use that choice to direct yourself onto a kind of directed path that will allow you to experience more and more of the blissful kind of thing, whatever your bliss is. You see what I mean? So my bliss may be different than your bliss, you know? My bliss may be weeping magnificent tears of joy at life, and your bliss may be, you know, running and experiencing the power of being able to run. Or your bliss may be, you know, like a connection with another human being, or connection with another dog or something. It doesn't matter. It's whatever your bliss is, you know what I mean? You follow that and you experience that, and whatever makes you feel that kind of experience, you start to do more of that practice. You start to do more of that thing. So for me, it's been chanting, singing, falling in love with reality, falling in love with other people, allowing myself to see the same love in other people as I have in the deepest lovers that I've ever had in this lifetime, and to allow myself to as deeply fall in love as I possibly can without attachment to anything. So to feel the same love for this leaf or these sticks down here as I do for the lovers that I've had in the past. You know what I mean? To stop conditionalizing the love and start to just give it out to everything around me and everyone that I possibly can. That's been my bliss in a way, you know. And then for me, giving love in whatever way that other people are receptive brings back feelings of bliss and love to myself. So I just continue the process, and it's like an infinite feedback loop of goodness, you know. But you do whatever is good for you. So I'll make more videos later today, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. So thank you. God bless you.